All right, everybody, welcome back. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today, I'm going to be doing a very unique review, a review unlike any I've ever done before, because I am not a comic book person, folks, but I went ahead and I bought the Star Wars Legends Old Republic Omnibus, 1,400-page omnibus. Star Wars, The Old Republic by Marvel, volume number 1. And I decided, hey, I've never read a comic book really before. I'll start with this 1,400-page comic book and see what happens. So we'll get into it. Now, I am lying a little bit. I have read some comics. The only comics I had read prior to this were the Conan comics that I collected specifically because they had Frank Frazetta covers, and I really liked these covers. So I had read these, and this is a nice set of Conan the Barbarian comics that I've got, and I really cherish them. But up until now, that's all I'd ever read. But I did just read this. Took me an entire month. I read about 40 to 50 pages a night, and I'm telling you, I was blown away with just how awesome it is. I mean, let's talk about this book here. The cover is cool. Let's take the cover off. And we're going to go over this book detail by detail. So the cover's got this wraparound cover. Very nice, very nice. We're going to set that aside for now. On the book itself, we've got this nice wraparound artwork that looks very, very nice, very sharp. And now we're going to set the book over here on the table. And I'm going to bring the camera over here to the book. And we're going to go over this book here. We'll move the Gandalf sword down a ways so we can open the book up. And let's open the book up and look at everything that's in it. So first of all, I did get the book signed to me by my good friend, John Jackson Miller. Now, a lot of you might know John Jackson Miller by the guy who wrote Kenobi. You know, and I know John Jackson Miller because I do a lot of Comic-Cons with John Jackson Miller at the Bard's Tower. Now, if you don't know what the Bard's Tower is, at every Comic-Con there's a big, huge bookstore on the showroom floor called Bard's Tower, and it's where all of the authors sign their books. And I do that often a lot with, with the Forgetting Moon. I take the Forgetting Moon or the Blackest Heart and I sign them same with the other authors. And I've had John Jackson Miller sign my books. And as you can see, we've got this lovely black page, and he's used the silver and gold Sharpie, which makes things look really sharp. And I also do the same thing with the Forgetting Moon, because I've got these black pages I can utilize too, and I always sign these with a silver or gold Sharpie. It just makes it look really super cool. So that is the opening page. One of the reasons I bought this is because he was signing books next to me at the Bard's Tower, and I kept looking over at this book, and I kept picking it up and thumbing through it, and just asking him questions about it and what it was about and everything, because I'd never seen anything like it. I had never seen a 1,200-page graphic novel like this, and it was just, it looked good, it smelled good. I mean, you open up the pages and the ink smell just hits you you feel like you're in a printing press just opening up every page. And I was just blown away, and I had to get a copy, so I went ahead and bought a copy and had him sign it. And anyway, let's go through it. So it starts out with a list of our artists, as you can see, written by John Jackson Miller, all of the artists and people that contributed. And one of the things I want to talk about as we get into some of the artwork in the story is the different types and styles of artwork. This is the table of contents, which is really helpful. So comic book 1 through 50, and I think it goes clear over to 50 here. Where's 50? Yeah. So from here all the way over is the one story. It's the Knights of the Old Republic story about the Jedi, Zane Carrick, and his troubles. Now, these last handful from here down It's kind of like a side quest story that they just kind of threw in the back of this book, that it doesn't have really many of the characters in this is from the main story. So we're going to just talk about the main story, which is the 50 original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic comic books, episodes 1 through 50. And each one of them, you can tell you've opened up a new episode because it's got this blank cover page, which I imagine had the Star Wars logo up here and the title of the comic down here or something on the original, but I'm glad that they left all the typeface off so we could just see the great paintings. And then we launch into it, and here's where I started to get blown away. I was taken with the story, and comic books I've never read, so it took me a while to get used to the visuals and the words. One of the things I noticed about the visuals was it took me a while to get to know which characters were who and what their names were. I recognized their faces immediately. Like I knew whose face was what, so I knew what character was doing what. I just didn't know their names for a while. Like when you read a novel, it's the name you recognize, and you have to visualize the character in your head. So every time you see the name, you automatically know the name. In the graphic novels, the names are mentioned very, very little, but you recognize the faces. It's much like a movie. It's very cinematic that way. So I was getting to know faces as characters before I was getting to know names as characters. Now, if we go to the very back here, we do have a list of the characters, and it's cool because let's talk about them. Like this is our main character, Zane Carrick. He is a young Jedi, pre-Star. This is the Old Republic, so this is in a galaxy a long time, far, far away, a long time ago. Like this is the Old Republic stuff. So he's a Jedi in training, and he is accused of murdering all of the other Jedis in training. He is wrongfully accused, and so he has to go on the run, and then everybody else in the galaxy is chasing him, and bounty hunters are hunting him. And so then he teams up with some characters like Griff and Slisk and Jerial, who is one of my favorite characters of all time. Jerial, she was dope, and I love that the artists made her look super smoking hot. I just dig that. And then, we've got the Mandalorian characters like Roland Dyer. We've got Camper, who's pretty important to the thing. And these are some of the bad people like Lucy and Dre and Kendra Dre. This guy's certainly a bad guy. And then some more of the bad guys, like all of these Quinelli. And we get to know all of them and their backstories. I mean, this book is just so thick with so much story and plot. It's amazing. And then we get details of their ships that they fly around. We can zoom in and we can see the different areas of the ships they fly around. We get a lot of that. So in the back, we come equipped with a pretty good list of things that we need that are important. Some of the other characters are here. Saul, he's pretty important. Different Mandalorians, like Cassus Fett is a big time player in the book. Anyway, and then we get like all the different planets that they adventure through. And now one of my favorite characters, I got to tell you, was and so while we're thumbing through this, let's just talk about the artwork itself. Like this is one of my favorite characters who was not mentioned in the character list there. She's sort of like the special guest star of the whole thing, but she is so cool. I think her name was Majestique or Majestic or something like that, but I just loved that character, and she causes a lot of havoc throughout. But these illustrations are so great. Now, one of the things that I noticed about the illustrations and how awesome they were is different artists are doing these, and see, at the end of every comic, we've got a black space, and then we know that the new comic is starting because we have the great illustration with no type on it. And I'm like I said, I'm assuming Star Wars went over here. But the illustrators just did a magnificent job, and I'm going to tell you, this is one of the legends. This is a Star Wars Legends. This is one of the Star Wars Legends, which means it will never, ever, ever see the light of day as a film or of a TV show, which is a shame, because if they took and just filmed this as a film trilogy or a TV series, It would be the most popular thing that Disney has ever done, because this story, and I'm telling you right now, this story has so much plot and depth and characterization in it that it just blows away everything else that I have seen in the Star Wars universe since the original trilogy that I watched as a kid. And just so much going on, and so much great Star Wars flavor and lore. And if you've read the Legends novels, there's hat tips and nods to all of that. And I really, really enjoyed this. And I can't tell you how much I liked it. Now, there's some more Star Wars graphic novels that I would like to get. I want to get, and you guys can tell me if you've ever heard of these or read them, and it's Dr. Alpha. I think there's one called Dr. Alpha or Dr. Afra. Man, it's Dr. Afra. That's kind of like a comic book that got real popular in the Star Wars universe, for the Dr. Afra ones. Those look pretty cool. I also want to get some of the Darth Vader omnibuses. Problem is most of these omnibuses, I mean, look how just beautiful this page is itself. I mean, just so great. And Dr. Afra and the Darth Vader stuff, and but the omnibuses won't come out until 2022, which is fine, because that gives me some time to read some other stuff. So that is the first ever graphic novel that I've ever read, and I'm gonna, just for the time and effort and just how vast in scope it is, I have to give it 10 out of 10. It's just that great of a piece of artwork. Just the book itself is gorgeous. The story itself was absolutely marvelous. I loved every single thing about it. I just dug this, my first, and now I got to collect more. Now I got to collect more, which I've already started to do. So my next graphic novel that I will be reading and reviewing is going to be Neil Stevens' The Sandman, equally as thick. And I've thumbed through this already, and it looks like it's going to be super killer awesome. So if you've read The Sandman, let me know. If you've read this book, if you've read this one, let me know also. If you've read the Star Wars Old Republic Legends Volume 1, let me know what you guys think. I am blown away, just absolutely blown away with how much I loved this. Absolutely loved it.